Hi, it's Jamie with Fayette County Extension. Welcome to the 1st of April in central Kentucky. We're predicted to have an actual freeze event tonight, which I need to tell you is not unusual at all. We know we're not typically considered average frost-free date until May 5th, so cold weather in April is nothing atypical for the state of Kentucky. But we have had some 70-degree days, and we're getting lots of calls. People are concerned about their plants with this upcoming forecast. I think this morning I saw the potential of 20 degrees. That is pretty cold. But I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's a little bit better this is occurring now than if it were occurring a month from now. Right now, plants are barely out of their dormancy. Things are just starting to break bud. And this, if we're going to have severe cold weather, this is one of the better times to do it because the plants are not so severely advanced that the damage is not going to be as severe because of the development stage. Also be aware that things like this redbud, plants that are native to central Kentucky and have been here for thousands of years, are going to handle this just fine. But everyone wants to know, should I do something? Can I protect these plants? So the answer depends on the situation and actually the temperatures we're going to. For a frost event, you're all familiar with covering plants. Covering plants with a sheet or some other fabric that breathes. You don't want to do plastic unless you're very diligent in getting it off before the sun comes out the next day. Those methods are good for frost protection. That's good for 1 to 2 degrees of protection, which gets you down to about 28. So that may help if we're predicted to just go slightly below freezing, but in this event we're looking at going to 20 or so. The redbud, it is distinctly possible some of these flower buds may be damaged, but the plant itself will be perfectly fine. In fact, almost all landscape plants will be perfectly fine. We might lose some buds, and even if we had some damage to those initial buds, they're all capable of very rapidly regrowing new growth and replacing all of that. So worst case scenario, we might have some damage to flowers. That just takes them out for the year. The lasting damage to the plant is likely to be nominal. So covering or not covering really depends. It might help. We never know exactly how cold it's going to get despite what the forecast is. So if we were to luck up and you covered something, that might be a little better than doing nothing at all, but it's not going to help if we're at 20 degrees and below freezing for several hours or most of the night. In terms of newly planted things, if any of you have been a little eager and jumped the gun with flowers in particular, there are certain vegetables that are considered safe to plant outside, but they're not safe if they've been in a greenhouse just a couple of weeks ago. So anything you have put in the ground in the last couple of weeks, your best bet is probably to simply gently dig it up, lift it, and move it to a sheltered place till the cold weather is behind us. That little bit of transplant shock will be far less stressful on the plants than letting them experience 20-degree temperatures, which they may or may not be able to recover from. If you have things in the vegetable garden from seed, they're likely to be fine. All of those things are cold hardy, and they've been out in the cold from day one, so it's not that little bit of adjustment period you need with those greenhouse crops. So here's some things. I just wanted to share some information about the temperatures and how effective trying to protect things would be so you can make wise decisions about the use of your time. Ultimately, we're all going to hope for the best and hope we don't quite go as low as 20, but I think we'll be pleasantly surprised in most cases how little lasting damage there is from an event like this.